place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God.
What a sacrifice, some would say. And as I preached about on Leela's baby dedication, what a commitment others might attest to Hannah's commitment to the Lord. She said, I give. Freely I was given, freely I give. Took it to a whole nother level of giving. But we don't associate giving with anything but sacrifice. That's why even me, while I'm preaching, don't even have the word sacrifice in my notes. But I'm conditioned and trained to think that every form of giving is sacrifice. So subconsciously, it just came out sacrifice. We're conditioned to think that giving is sacrifice when it's not necessarily the case. It says in chapter 3 of 1 Samuel, after Samuel had been living there for a while. Something interesting here. The child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli. When we look at the word ministered, we need to understand the importance of understanding what ministry is meant to do. It's not for those of us involved in it to sit on our high horse and look down at other people and say, yeah, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong. And there's actually a book called The View from the Back of the Pulpit. And the guy that wrote it said that he had, I think it was some sort of yellow sports car when he was trying to go evangelize, and he would show up and people would look at him kind of funny, and he would be preaching and they would kind of, like, oh, this guy thinks he's better than me, that kind of situation. So he traded it in for an old minivan, and he said all of a sudden his revival started changing. What a crazy thing to think about. But all of a sudden, people's perspective of him started changing, and they thought, oh, look at this guy that isn't, trying to be flashy and this, that, and the other. And he probably just liked the car. It wasn't anything, outlandish. It wasn't like he was driving in a Lamborghini, but it was just a sports car. And immediately it was people's mindset was turned to, oh, he thinks he's better than me. How crazy that something so small could change something so big for him. And he began to talk about in our situation is not as elevated, but it still is elevated somewhat. So I see every phone that's pulled out, and I see everything that happens the entire time I'm preaching. I see every child that runs out, every person that goes out to see the child. I hear every sound that happens. Y'all are also hearing me talk, but all I'm getting is my output and then all of the other inputs. So the view from the back of the pulpit is quite different than the view from not the back of the pulpit, from in front of it. It's quite different. And yet, the importance of ministry. I shouldn't be up here preaching today so that when we leave, everybody says, oh, look what a great job Jared did. I hope that you think that I did a good job preaching, but really it's not about if I did a good job or if I did a bad job. What it's about is, did I minister to you? Which is that I bring something of use that tomorrow you can take and you can apply it to your life. Or maybe in 3 weeks' time you deal with something and you think back and say, oh yes, I remember whenever I was ministered to unto the Lord before when Jared ministered. That's what this is ministry. There's a song I've been listening to that is, I don't know their backstory, but they're clearly somebody that's been involved in ministry from an early age, and they begin to talk about the bruises and things of that nature, and said, buckle up, this is ministry. And that is the case. Anybody that's worked in any form of leadership at all knows that you get, there's this thing that happens differently, but especially in the church, because the leadership is backwards from everywhere else. Garth has a leadership position at work. So that means his subordinates should listen to him. Bree has, she was just talking about hers, quotes on should. They should listen to whoever's in charge. But in the church, it's quite opposite. It's not a pyramid where it's, here's me on top and here's the board underneath and here's, the people that pray the most next and then, here's the singers. And it's not laid out like that. If anything, it should be the opposite. Why would you want your foundation built on people that don't really have a relationship with God? Why would we structure a church where the foundation is all just people that come once every 6 months? That doesn't make any sense. That's an inverted hierarchy for how it should be. But it should be what Jesus ministered to his disciples and said, let me wash your feet. If there ever comes a day that I'm not the one serving, then I've got myself in the wrong spot. Because my job as a church is to minister. It's to serve. It's to be the first one to say, let me help clean something. Let me help do something. If we're ever putting me in a position of royalty, then we've failed and we've missed the whole thing.